Hi, welcome to day 15 of the 21 days of Pilates. So, we are finishing up our third week, and hopefully, you enjoyed that no flexion workout yesterday. It was a little different, but it's just centering and using your strength in a different way. And by really strengthening in that way, it's going to help your full Pilates routine as you get into flexion and stuff, because you're going to be coming from that centering, lifting, and creating lots of length as you flex. So it's a great routine to jump back to whenever you would like, just to work on that stabilization, work on that core strength, and working from centering from that sort of powerhouse area. Today, we're going to use the ball. We are going to focus on really strengthening the glutes and the legs and the hamstrings as we sort of work this routine. So, grab your ball and let's get to it. So, we're going to make our way to a lying down position, but let's start with the ball in between our thighs. Your feet are down, so let your legs go a little bit further away from you so you can really kind of plant the toes and the balls of your feet and heels down. You're going to squeeze that ball from the outer hips inward, grab hold of your thighs, and really lift up tall here. Get those shoulders right over your hips. And let's try to center our breath. So we're going to inhale and exhale, right? Just like we did all these other days, breathing into those ribs in the back. Exhale, connecting with your center and letting that center area grow you tall. And if you're not feeling good getting taller and taller, just get as tall as you can today, okay? Good. So now we're going to start to roll back on our inhale, just pulling that center back. You're not sort of rolling onto your tailbone, you're pulling with your center just to go to a range of motion that works for you. And then exhale, head forward. Inhale, you can keep going a little further back, a little further back if you want, or you keep them small. Feel free to just keep them small range. You'll feel yourself coming from your center. If you want to let go, you can. And if you're wanting to, you can get further and further down, only if you'd like. But you're working with your breath, you're breathing, you're not holding your breath. And then I'm going to slowly make my way down. All right, so getting yourself centered on your mat. Pull those legs just a little bit closer towards you and anchoring upper back and arms and feeling that tailbone super long on your inhale. Start to roll the hips towards you using your center. And then exhale, reaching the tail long. We're not arching the back here. We're just really trying to anchor the pelvis and keep the tail long. So we curl the pelvis a little bit towards you, but you're pulling with those abdominals. And then we let it go away, reaching the tail long. Watch what happens when you kind of curl the tailbone past the reach and it kind of anchors into the mat. That's where you're going to arch your low back, right? So let's feel the difference there. As you reach the tail long, the pelvis anchors. And then when you get the tail super heavy and it kind of reaches into the floor, it arches your back. So play with those two ranges of motion. Keep breathing. Your breath is what's going to give you that balance. It's going to give you that range of motion. If you hold your breath, you'll lose it. All right, you'll tense up. So now let's curl towards our ribs. So you'll imprint that spine. Find sort of your neutral as you feel the tail go long, and then the tail will press into the mat and you'll feel that extension. Feel those three positions. Maybe feel the feet reaching towards the tail and the tail reaching towards the feet. Feel your backs of your legs anchored. And now we'll have it go maybe a little further up if you're okay with that. All right, so you're resting on the upper mid back and you want to feel energy through the front of your knees, like they're shooting forward over your toes. and we'll roll it down. And maybe if you want, you can go into that little extension just to feel the difference. Feel it neutral, and then curl it into the imprint. Shoot the knees forward, squeeze that ball. Keep shooting those knees forward, even on the way down with that spine. Go at your own range of motion, just allow the movement to happen. Are the heels pulling to the seat to the heels? Do you feel the difference? And then at the same time, the knees shoot over those toes, right? There's a lot of activity and energy going in that lower body. And that's what we're focusing on today. Excellent. All right, from here, I'm just going to let my legs go wide. Do a little windshield wiper. So we're going to be gentle with, because you're sort of twisting that lower spine as the pelvis sort of just rocks side to side. So I go through center with my pelvis and then one hip down, one hip up. And to do that, then I stretch my thigh. So really focus on the movement coming from your pelvis. And that's going to help with the hip stretch in a controlled way. So that thigh just reaches long and it presses down as you just pick up that pelvis. Come through center, one hip down, one hip up. Feel free to have it go faster if you want. And then we'll just come to center, bringing those legs back in. Lift your pelvis up and take that ball just right underneath your pelvis. All right. And then we'll just hug those knees in towards us. Should feel kind of good there. And then just click the heels together. We're going to reach our legs up to where the ceiling and wall meet. So you're not going too low with those legs. And then we pull them back in. Really finding the connection of your center. And that's what helps reach the legs. We have about 3 more. I'm placing my hands there to just feel the belly pulling in. And that is where the source of the reach comes from. Hold it out there. And then I want you to sort of just reach a little bit through your feet and then pull back. Not too much. It's just a reach of the ankle, a pull back. Reach, pull back, and notice how the legs hang out there from your center. One more time. And then bend and pull it in. Good. Take the knees closer towards your armpits. And then one leg down, one leg up. Lift the pelvis. And then return to center. Good. All right. So now from here, I want you to get your legs nice and wide. We have no ball here. We're just going to curl the pelvis towards us as we lift the hips up in this now little open position. Push your knees forward. You're resting on your back. And then just lower the hips down. Not an articulation. It's just a down and an up. Anchor those arms. Down and up. And press. All right, we've got 5 more here. Keep reaching those knees right over your toes. And we've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Now hold there. Keep pressing those knees over your toes, anchoring those arms down on your mat, and then just little presses out, out. Even think kind of pubic bone high up to the sky for 5 and 4 and 3. Are those arms anchored? 2 and 1. Hold right there and just lower the pelvis down. Good. All right, so I'm going to grab one leg. You can also turn to your side if you want, and then just slowly kind of make our way up to a standing or a sitting position. All right, so I want you to take one heel down onto the ball, stretch it long as you lower your body back down. And as you press your heel into the mat, can you find your seat and hamstring and really engage it? The other leg's going to reach. It can reach low or high, wherever you feel today that you can hold your stability. And you're going to give me 5 circles each way, really finding your center here and your breath. And then I'll go the other way, really just finding the stability of the opposite leg and the center to help control the circling leg. And then we'll hug that thigh in. Anchor your tail, really reach through the tail, right? So we're staying long and you're pulling that thigh as you keep reaching the tail long. Flex your bottom foot and anchor that heel down. Good. All right, I am going to keep my knee into me very gently. Anchor your opposite arm as you take the thigh over. Keeping anchored in your upper back so you're not going too far over where you lose that anchor. And then we bring it back in and then slide it along, press the heel into the mat. Really try to slide that leg longer than that other leg and anchor it. Good. All right, so we're going to switch our legs here. So I'm going to now press the heel into that other leg, find the seat and hamstring. So really find the reach from there, from the center, right? Not from the knee or the ankle. We're really connected to our center. All right, other leg's going to reach up. It can stay low, high, wherever you can maintain your connection. And give me 5 circles each way. Everything is anchored and stable. You're breathing, don't hold your breath. And then it pulls in. Again, anchoring the pelvis, reaching long through that tail. And then your pelvis will just sort of one hip heavy, the other lifts, and that helps you twist as you anchor your upper back. So we don't want that shoulder to lift to go further. That's going to tweak. We want to keep it very controlled here. It's just the pelvis taking that thigh over. And then we come back to center, keep that thigh in, and then push the heel down. Stretch that leg longer than the other leg and really feel it reaching from your center. Good. All right, I'm gonna sort of get that ball. You can put it in between your thighs. That sort of just happened. You also can take it away, but we're pushing through the heels. Heels are anchored. I am going to go up for a roll up. You do not have to. If you want to just turn to your side and come up, feel free. We're still in sort of a restorative flow here. And we're just going to curl ourselves up, all the way up, and then dive your body using your hips over those thighs, scooping from your belly, and then just lifting it up through the spine. Good job. Okay, so from here, I'm going to turn to my side. All right, and let's bend our knees to a 90-degree angle. And I am going to lie myself down, cradle in my here, and then the arm is going to rest on the ball. Okay, and that's going to help as I push into the ball, find my center more. If you feel that. So if your arm's connected to your back and you gently press into the ball, see if you can feel your center. So as you push into that ball, can you lift your ribs up, pull that center up, and you want to keep that connection the entire time. All right, I'm going to get more into a 90-degree angle here. Press your bottom thigh down, bottom hip, as we lift and lower. Push into that ball, push into the bottom leg to lift the top leg, okay? Feel that work evenly throughout the whole body. It's all about balance. The more you can balance your body and balance the muscles, the more range of motion you'll get in whatever you're moving. Good. We'll hold that up there and then just circle the thigh in that hip socket. Keep pressing down on the ball to feel your center, and then we'll reverse that circle. Good. All right, and then hold center, go heel to heel, knee to knee. Just feeling sort of that rotation in the hip joint. We have two more. Good. Now we're going to stretch that leg long and we're going to find the heel reaching. And we want to keep the heel lined up with our butt bone. So look over and then push through. And then we want to really open that hip and press through and keep that leg hip height. So as it reaches, find that. Good. And then give little lifts up. Up. And then I'm going to press into that ball, find my center more, and feel the difference as everything's anchored and centered and connected. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold that there, and then lower hip height, point through the foot. Now press that leg behind you as you stay super connected here. Hold that, and then little circles there, if you can. 2 and 1, and can we circle the other way? 3 and 2 and 1, and then just release it down. Good. We're going to turn to our stomach before we go to the other side. No ball is needed, so just put it to the side so you can grab it in a sec. Take your hands to your forehead and rest your forehead down. All right, so now from here, as I rest my forehead, I'm going to connect to my center and just take a few moments to connect to your breath, find your center. So instead of the tail getting long, it does get long, but you can also use the pubic bone as sort of the center on the mat. But still feel your tail getting longer and longer. And as you do that, you pull your center in. Feel the breath in the back. Now, as you're getting centered, you're going to turn your inner thighs up to the ceiling. And then I want you to lift one leg up, almost like you're lifting from the inner thigh. And you feel that reach right from your center. Lower down, take the other leg. So it's not about how high you lift the leg, it's really finding the connection from your center. Feeling your seat and hamstring and inner thigh working. But if I lift too much, then it just goes right into my low back and I lose all that juiciness of the extension of the spine, the reaching long. Now, if you want to try both legs, if this feels good, stay there. But if you want to try both legs, you're going to glue them together from the heel into the inner thigh. And same idea, reaching from your center, reaching through the tail. Keep lifting right at the ribs, lifting into the spine so you can pick that center up, and it's going to help keep your low back long. But that thoracic spine, that mid back, I want to keep it very active from the front of your body. One more, you can keep it up. Now, maybe you try to lift the mid back. If that feels okay, don't do it if that doesn't feel good. And then we lower everything down and we lift everything up. If you feel strong, and you can do one of those 3 that we've done, the alternating the legs, both legs up, or add the upper body, only if that feels good. Try not to lift the legs higher than the upper body though. I'm going to do about 2 more. And then we'll just hold it up there. If that's okay to hold, just then beat the heels. Inner thighs, seat, hamstring. Holding this and breathing. Don't hold your breath. See if you can lose tension and just hold this. And then just release. And we're going to sit ourselves back into a little shell stretch. Let gravity just release you down. Good. Okay, so let's go to the other side with the legs. So it's really important to get the seat and the head in line, the spine in alignment. Oh, forgot my ball. So before moving, I just want to really make sure you're finding your start position because that's super important. So just hold here and connect the ball pressing down to find your center. So I'm not pushing with my hand and that's all I'm feeling. I'm feeling my arm on my back, pressing from my back to find my center more. So everything's connected, right? Bottom leg anchored. Feel that hip anchored and active. All right. And once you feel yourself really connected, press down to lift up. And that gluteus medius right here is very weak on many of us. And it's important to keep it strong because that's what's going to keep your low back feeling strong and supple. It's going to help your knee and your ankles. And this is sort of muscles that keep your torso upright. So everything's connected again. I'll say that a lot. And make sure you keep breathing. You don't want to hold your breath. Your breath is what keeps you centered. Hold up. And then just circling that femur bone right in the hip socket. Are you connected to that ball from your back and belly? And then we'll reverse that circle. Keep the range of motion, what works for you, because they are more reps than we're used to doing. Just make it a smaller range of motion then. And then we go heel to heel, knee to knee. Good. And then stretch that leg long. Should feel really good after that work. And then tail reaches long through the heel. You're also reaching out the crown of the head. Press into the ball to lift your center. Look up, make sure the heel is lined up with your butt bone. Good, and then little lifts up. Anchor that bottom leg, push into that ball, find your center. Relax the neck. Point the foot. Press that leg back behind you. Don't lose anything else in your stability. You're just opening the hip using your seat and hamstring. That leg reaches from your center, push into that ball, and then little circles back here. Good. I'm going to reverse my circle. Find your center with that ball. Will help. Good. And then release it down. Awesome job. I'm going to turn to the stomach again. Take your hands underneath your forehead again. Now we're going to bend our knees and let our knees come apart and then push your heels together. Okay, so we're making kind of like a frog position. Feet are sort of flat to the ceiling. And as you push into your heels, I want you to anchor the pubic bone and get that tailbone long. Okay, so pushing into the heels, you're going to find that connects into your seat. Breathe and find your ribs, find your back, find your center.
Maybe as you exhale, pick up the center more as you squeeze your heels. Reach the tail longer. Maybe the pubic bone gets a little heavier. Now feel free to stay like this, but if you want a little bit extra and it doesn't go into your low back, maybe pick up the thighs. So those femurs lift up and then release down. They lift up as they stretch long and lower. So pick where you want to work. You can just hold and breathe. You can squeeze the heels and breathe, or you can try to squeeze the heels and lift the femurs. And maybe you lift those femurs and you keep them lifted, right? So your heels are squeezing to find the seat. Keep the seat that connected as you stretch your legs long. And then we maybe take our hands to our sides and maybe extend the back as you lift the legs. And then we lower it back down and lift it back up. Only doing that if you feel really connected and it feels good. And you're welcome to keep it up there like that, and then just breathe. And as you breathe, inhaling, you're going to feel sort of your maybe your upper body extend more. And then as you exhale, naturally, your body will rock. But everything is connected. And then we lower down and we sit it back, finding the seat to the heels, using gravity to help just release you down. And we roll it back up. Good. All right, so let's take it to our back again. I'm going to use the ball in between the thighs and lie down. So getting your feet ready for some hip rolls, arms anchored. Ball is squeezed from the outer hips, inner thighs, everything's connected, balanced equally. We're not just sort of pushing in with our knees. You can easily do that. We want to really find everything connected to our center. Roll the hips up. Now, pushing the knees beyond the toes, anchoring the backs of the arms. We're going to just tap the hips down and lift up, and we're going to do 10 of them. Make sure you're breathing. Anchor the arms and really use the strength of your upper mid back, right? We're not pressing into the neck. You're going to hold the last one up there and then just give a little up and then a squeeze in. A little up, squeeze in. Push those knees beyond the toes. Keep the tailbone long. That tailbone is trying to reach into the back of your legs. Backs of the knees, backs of the shins. 5 more. For the upper arms and the palms. Now hold everything together up there and then just little deep squeezes up. It's so small, but that tail reaches long. Pull the heels to the seat a little bit for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just drop the pelvis down, lift it back up. Six more. And then just go ahead and drop that pelvis just to hover it above the mat. Reach long through the tail. Let go of the seat muscles and push into the feet. Drag the heels to the seat and then pick it up. Go down and hover. Let go of those seat muscles. Feel the heels pull to the seat and lift up. Hover. Lift up. hover 2 more times, lift. You got some shaky glutes yet? One more time, we lift up, we hold, and then just squeeze that ball in, push the tail beyond the knees. 5, 4, 3, drag the heels to the seat and articulate it down. Good job. Hug those into you, rock back and forth a little bit. Good. And then just sort of let it go. Let that ball go. And again, tilt your pelvis over. Tilt your pelvis over. One more each side. Good. I'm just going to go ahead, center myself, hug the thighs in, use the thighs to help lift up. Good. All right, spin it around. Put that ball to the side. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then let's stretch your left leg long and then push through the ball of the foot, right? You're not on just the toes. Get your ball of the foot on the floor and center yourself. All right, pick up the center with one breath. So take an inhale, exhale, connect, and then lift your leg up. Feel your inner thigh spin to the ceiling and tap down and lift up, up. And then just hold it up there and give me a little pulsing, like you're pulling your inner thigh up to the ceiling. You're staying super long from the center. Hold, drop the foot down, find the ball of the foot, pivot the bottom knee, pivot your hand a little bit and just stretch it here. Keeping the hip over the knee, just hold here and stretch and lift that pelvis up and give yourself a stretch. Look down towards the floor and then we'll just pull it and center again. Arm and leg lift up, drop down for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down and let gravity pull you back. All right, we're going to do the other leg. I'm going to spin myself around. You do not need to. Just stay where you are. And then take your right ball of foot back. Really push through the ball of the foot so the pinky toe has equal pressure like the big toe. And then feel yourself sort of reach through your arch. Take a breath to connect to your center. And we lift up. Spin that inner thigh up to the ceiling. Tap down, lift up. We've got 10 of these. You're not sitting in your hip. You are centered. And then just hold it up there. Reconnect with your center and little pulsing. Good. Drop down to the ball of the foot. Pivot, turn that bottom knee. Adjust your hand a little bit. Get your hip right over that knee. Feel that stretch in your side. And when you're ready, you can look down and just stretch, lifting the pelvis up and center it. Good. And then taking both heels back. Just feel that connecting your heels and inner thighs and seat, and just hold and breathe and connect to your center. 2 more centering breaths. And drop those knees down and release to gravity. Tuck your toes under. And let's just roll it up. Heels will drop as you lift yourself up. Okay, so we're going to do a quick little balance work. You're going to place your weight sort of on your left foot. All right, and we're going to pull our right leg up into us. And you want to really try to keep your hips square. So pull your center in. Try not to let your pelvis tilt. And we're going to take our opposite arm up. And we're going to take our opposite arm back, and we're just going to switch. And your leg, bottom leg will bend as you bring that back leg back. And then we come back up. Find your center. You got to use your full thigh, inner thigh, outer hip, seat, hamstring, as well as your center. Feel free to hold on to something if you need to. 3,
2, 1, and then bring it down. Other side, weight is going to go into that left or right leg. All right, and then we lift the left. Try not to tilt your pelvis. Opposite arm up, back, and then we bend the bottom leg as we just sort of shift our weight back and bring it up. And I want you to feel it very center oriented in your breath and your center, right? But what's happening with that opposite leg? We worked a lot with the legs this week, and you want to feel that center, just like we did in day 12. The knee tracks over those middle toes. You're in your muscles, not your joints. Seat, hamstring, hip. Got 2 more. And all that practice helps you with this work, finding your balance. Good. And then just release it, shift it. Oh, good. All right, let's get those legs just wide. I'm going to just curl down. Let gravity just sort of take over all the way down to your toes. And then let it just pull you back up from your center. Good. And there you go. Welcome. Welcome. We're finished. It's not a welcome anymore. Good job. So hopefully you feel good, and you feel like you're understanding your body more, and that every day that you come to this practice, you're going to feel different, right? Not every day is going to feel like you have the power and energy. And so these past 2 days, I wanted to show you that, how you can really connect to the work in a more gentle way. I do this with my core clubbers. Hello, core clubbers. We do this, a restorative every week together on Sundays. So we're going to start that back up in January. And it's a time where we can connect together every week live. And there's always a replay. So, but we do this kind of work where we just slow it down and connect. And that's important work to do, so that when you get to the faster stuff and more intense stuff, you've got the staples and you've got that foundation. So hopefully you feel good. I'm feeling so much better myself. So thank you for joining me this week. We've got 1 more week left. So I'll see you again next week. So if you're doing this live with me, we have the weekend off, and tomorrow happens to be Christmas. So Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. And I'll see you again on Monday. Okay, take care.